27, I'm going to show you today how to do a practical that you can have a go at home with just things that you might have around the house. Last week we talked about hazard labels, so that you know that some chemicals can be a little bit dangerous and that they can irritate your skin, cause burns and things. And then on Friday you did some work on acids and alkalis. So acids and alkalis are chemical opposites of each other. They can both be useful, they can both be dangerous, they can both be hazardous and burn you, okay? So we need to have an effective way of telling which is which, because quite often acids and alkalis, when you have them at school, look exactly the same. Unless if the labels are fallen off them or they haven't got a label on, then they look exactly the same. So we need to have a way of telling the difference, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to actually make what we call an indicator that allows us to test whether chemicals are acids or alkalis. So there's lots of things that you can make an indicator with. I'm just going to move this down so that you can see what I'm doing. What I'm going to use today is blueberries. Now, I haven't tried it with the frozen ones. These are just wonky ones that I got from Aldi. If you can get hold of some, then it'd be great. If you've got them in your freezer, you could still try, but as I say, I'm not sure whether or not it works. So what you're going to do is you're going to put some blueberries in a bowl. You only need about 10, maybe 11. Put an extra one in for good luck. And we're going to squash them with a spoon or a fork. Now that's why I've got my apron on, because the juice can squirt out a little bit and I don't want to get blueberries all over my t-shirt. So I'm just going to squash up the blueberries, okay? They don't seem as if they've got any colour in them when you just squash them. They've got that kind of weird yellow middle. But the skins, when you look at the skins, you can see that it's starting to get a little bit of purple, okay? Now once these are really, really smushed up, really, really well squashed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water to them, okay? So you add about half a bowl of water, and then you're going to put them into a pan and very, very carefully boil them, okay? Now you will see that as you boil the blueberries, that the liquid will start to go quite purple, and that's what you want, okay? So you need to boil them until the liquid has gone quite purple, okay? So you're going to very carefully boil them, probably for about just a few minutes, because you don't need much water in them, so it's not going to take ages. So boil them until the water is really, really purple, okay? Then you're going to leave it to cool, because we're going to be careful. And then what you're going to do is you're going to strain it through a sieve, or if you've got a coffee filter, that would be great. But I'm just going to strain it through a sieve. Okay, so I'm going to move that one over there. And I've got one that I prepared before. Okay, so I've got my pan here. I've let it cool. You can see in there that it's quite purple. Okay, like a pinky purple colour. And I'm going to strain that liquid through my sieve. Okay. Now with a sieve there is probably going to be some of the bits go through, okay, but as long as I've removed the main chunky bits, that's the main thing. Now I'm going to put it into a glass so that you can see the colour of this liquid. Okay, so let me just move my sieve back into the pan so I don't make a mess. Okay, now I'm going to pour my liquid into a glass, just so that you can see what colour my indicator is. So it's that lovely sort of purple colour, okay? Now I'm going to test three solutions, okay, three liquids. So this is my indicator, this is what colour it is on its own, okay? Now I've got three liquids. Now two of them look more or less identical, because if I didn't have those labels on, those two liquids would look colourless, clear, okay? Now one of them is vinegar and one of them is water. Now this one is washing powder, okay? Now you can sort of tell that it's washing powder because it's not completely dissolving, there's little bits left in it. I did try it with bleach, but the bleach takes the colour out completely, okay? So that's no use. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the examples of these, and then I can tell you what these chemicals are, okay? So I'm just going to add a spoonful of my blueberry juice to each of them, okay? And then I'm going to put them in the washing powder as well. I hope that's not enough. Right, okay, so the water is the same colour as what it was to begin with. So the water has stayed that purple colour, okay? Now my vinegar, which I know is an acid, has turned red, okay? It's definitely a different colour, okay? So the vinegar has turned red with my blueberry juice, okay? So it's acted as an indicator. It's told me that this chemical is acid and it's turned the blueberry juice red, okay? In the washing powder, it's turned green, okay? Now I know that washing powder is an alkali, okay, which is the opposite of an acid. So it tells me that blueberry indicator, okay, which is what I've made, my blueberry indicator, turns green in alkali solutions, okay? So blueberries will turn green in alkalis and red in acids. Now what I want you to try and do is if you can get hold of some blueberries and you can make this indicator, then I want you to go around your house and test different solutions, okay? So it could be that you test milk, right? Or you could test some soap dissolved in water. You're going to have to be careful because some things are coloured. So if you tested something like Coke, it's going to be very difficult to see a colour change because Coke's brown. Okay, but you could do lemonade, you could do some toothpaste dissolved in a little bit of water, you could do soap, I said. What else could you do? Maybe some apple juice, which would be easier to do because it's not as coloured as orange juice. So you need to try and pick some things around your house, maybe dissolve some salt in some water. You need to find some things that haven't got a really strong colour so that when you add your indicator, you can really see the colour change, and then you're going to have a results table that will tell me what your chemical was or what your liquid was that you have tested and whether or not it's an alkali if it goes green or if it's an acid if it turns red, okay? If you can't get hold of blueberries, that's not a problem. I will put some other work on class charts for you to do, okay? But hopefully you'll be able to have a little go at doing the practical yourself. Be careful, okay? Make sure you wear something to cover your clothes, and make sure you wash your hands after you've been using all these different products, because even cleaning products can be quite dangerous if you ingest them by accident, okay? So have a little go at home.